Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
What did you want to be when you were at school? Was it a marine biologist, helicopter pilot, maybe an accountant, fireman, policeman? If you're a school leaver waiting for your HSC results to be released next Thursday, you're probably hoping for a mark that will get you into your chosen university course, and really hope that goes well for all of you. It's a very stressful time if you're a school leaver, but it is a university degree for everyone, or is it a university degree for everyone? Self-made millionaire and tonight's guest, Cham Tang, has good news. It's not always necessary to go to uni to have a successful career. And with me tonight, joining me on the line is Cham. Hi, Cham.
Hi, how you going, Christine?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Congrats to you and the life that you've made for yourself. Now, university attrition rates are at an all-time high. Can I ask you why you think this is?
Yeah, I think it's because people don't know why they're studying so hard. I mean, we're always told at school that we should study hard and go to university, but no one ever really told us why. And there was a study that got done by Deloitte in 2015 that said, for now more than ever, millennials are finding they want a career with purpose. And when you look through the university admissions book, just the thought of studying dry subjects like, business or IT or accounting, for most people, they just don't get them out of bed in the morning, and it's not really something they want to persist with for the rest of their lives. So I think purpose is missing.
Yeah, wouldn't we all love to have heard that in our school years, a career with a purpose? I'd like you to tell us your high school leaver's story, because you did your HSC twice.
Yeah, that's right. In Year 7, I went to 4th Street, was a selective school. So I was smart in Year 7, Year 8 and 9, my marks were good. And I thought I was a real smarty pants because I had a brainwave in Year 10. I realized that all my marks in Year 10 don't actually count towards the HSC, so I'm just going to start studying hard in Year 11 and 12. But what happened was I just developed really lazy habits and my marks were really bad. I was studying really hard and I didn't know why. I remember joking to my math teacher at the time. I said, you know what, the only reason I would learn differentiation and any of these mathematics things is to become a math teacher, which he didn't really like too much, but I thought was funny at the time. And I didn't have a purpose to study, so therefore I didn't study that hard, and I slacked off, and I got 49.45 in my TER in 1995.
Wow, but you went on and you worked in quite a few different jobs once you left school.
Yeah.
When was that moment for you? Like, when did you realise what you wanted to do? When did it happen?
I realised that moment with the same time that I figured out what I enjoyed doing, what I would do for free. And for me personally, that was personal development. I enjoyed learning about how the mind works and how to improve it and everything. And I just wanted that to be my career. I didn't know how it was going to happen at the time. But I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. It said if you want to be successful, then you should learn the skill of sales. And I decided to sell Tony Robbins seminars, Anthony Robbins, the big motivational speaker. And that kind of started the journey.
So you did eventually go to uni, but not until you knew exactly what you wanted to do, which is what you're talking about. But when did this happen, and how many years did it take?
Well, I was a mature age student at university at the age of 21. And so it took about 3 years of, working in banks and different corporate jobs because I thought that was the career path. You had to be in a suit and go to a bank or work in the city. But then I decided to go back to uni to try something different, and I did IT. And I could never get into IT before with a mark of, 50. And I went and did IT, and I worked in IT for a couple of years, and I realized that wasn't for me. That's when I started doing the Tony Robbins thing. Then after I left that, I became a personal trainer for a year because I wanted to just do something I enjoyed for the sake of doing it as well. And then I met my business partner, Benjamin J. Harvey, at a personal development seminar about 8 years ago when we started Authentic Education.
Wow, to think that 21 is mature aged. How did you find studying as a mature aged student at the age of 21?
It's quite tough because everyone else was like 18 and 17 and 18, and I was like the extremely old one. So it was tough all the way to I think 23 or 24. I forgot how old I was at the time, but it was different because it's just a different generation of people, really.
So you found that there was quite a difference between being, being around 18-year-old minds compared to, being yourself on a chosen career path and knowing what you wanted?
Yes, for sure. I mean, at that time, I wasn't 100% sure I knew what I wanted. Luckily for me, they had a program there called Young Achievers Australia, so I enrolled into that, and that gave me the taste for business because you pretend to create a company. So that was good. But, yeah, there was definitely a gap there. Everyone's excited about, drinking alcohol and going to nightclubs, and I had kind of already done that. So there was a bit of a gap for sure.
There's often pressure from parents, to follow a particular career path. Do you think there's a way of finding a happy medium, or should parents really let their kids decide for themselves?
I guess it depends. I can only speak for myself and probably a lot of the other people that are first-born generation in Australia. I mean, I'm not even first-born. I was born in Vietnam, but I came here when I was 3 months old, so my accent's pretty good. But I did feel that I was caught between two worlds because on the one side, my parents are raising me in this world trying to say you need security and you got to save your money and don't spend money needlessly because anything could happen because they experienced war and famine and fires. But then I'm in Australia where the message is different. You should travel and be well balanced and play sport and have fun and not just live for the future. So it's a little bit tough. And then the parental pressure comes in because that security-based mindset wants a stable job like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. Whereas these days, so many people just, they want to start businesses. But I was never given that opportunity or option when I was younger. It was always doctor, lawyer, pharmacist, dentist. That was the best option.
Do you think when parents place pressure on their kids to be successful, is it more likely they'll not be able to apply themselves at school?
Yeah, I think so, because the pressure is too great, so therefore their fear of failure and the expectations placed on them sets them up to have something bad happen if something goes wrong. So it's like, what's the analogy? If I knew that my whole life lay in the balance of getting 100 out of 100 on a test, I'd be put under so much stress and pressure, I probably couldn't sleep the night before the test.
Yeah.
Therefore, I wouldn't even do that well in it. So I think the pressure is not only too much and it affects people's performance, but it's also unwarranted because, not getting the marks you want it's not the end of the world for a lot of people.
And in all of this, Cham, you were intrigued in what happens in the mind. Tell us a bit about what intrigued you about wanting to know more about what goes on in our minds.
Well, I guess when you're faced with a lot of hardships, like I don't want to tell some violin story about, how I was raised with a single mother and, no money growing up and all that stuff, but it does make you think. And when it makes you think, you start searching for answers of why you're feeling a certain way or how can you change your mindset to become less negative and more positive and change bad habits. And then I started reading books. And then once I started reading books, this light bulb went off in my mind that I thought, wow, as corny as it sounds, you can actually change the way you think and feel from reading a book. And then based on that book, you can change your actions and then start to change the results you have in your finances or career or relationships or health. That's amazing to me that we can change ourselves like that.
Well, you are what you think.
Yeah, that's right, definitely.
You've shown that not knowing what you wanted to do when you left school doesn't mean you fail in life. Your company, which is called Authentic Education, made $3 million in revenue last year.
That's right.
That must feel bloody awesome.
Yeah, it does, because every person that we helped, they exchange that for value. So it feels awesome, and we specialise in helping people do what they love. So as an example, one of the most important things we've got going on next year, we like to start the year off because a lot of people want to make changes in 2017. We call it a turning point. So we decided to run this free event called the Turning Point Intensive, which helps people set goals and make new changes in their life. But yeah, like you said, helping all those people and doing it in something I love to do is a dream come true. I can't even believe I'm talking to you right now. I used to watch your stuff on video hits, so forgive me if it's a bit surreal.
Yeah, but it didn't make you want to become a singer, did it?
No.
Well, okay, so just say I wanted to, I've come to a turning point in my life, and
Yes.
and I look you up and I find this amazing company called Authentic Education.
Mm-hmm.
I come to you and I sit down and I have a discussion, and take me through the process of what it is after I've discussed with you that I feel that I haven't found that thing that I really, that I'm really passionate about. Talk me through the process of what you'd be putting me through.
Yeah, so it all starts with what you love. And for some people, love is a strong word, so it's what you like. That's step number one. You have to have a reason or a why to do something. Step number two would be what you're good at. So some people may not have experience when they're, a school leaver. I understand that. That's the least important. And then the third thing is what other people need. So if the market needs something, like they need someone to help them lose weight or someone to help them invest in property, then you've got an opportunity. So if you put these three things together, if you've got something you love or like, if you've got something that the market needs, and if you've got something you're good at or you could see yourself being good at,
You could set me on the path.
Exactly. You've got a great opportunity.
Awesome. What an awesome person to come into contact with. Now, before we let you go, for school leavers that are listening tonight and their parents that aren't sure, what they want to do, and the parents probably want to give them a bit of space to work it out for themselves, what do you say? What would you say to them?
I would say that they've got the next 45 years of their life to get on the right path. It's a marathon. It's not really a sprint. So it doesn't matter how fast you start. It's how you finish counts. And you wouldn't want to jeopardize them getting on their path for the sake of getting off to a fast start. Like quickly if you're trying to think of, how do I get from Sydney to Melbourne? What route do I take? Just trying to take off quickly and go in any direction isn't the best option. You should think about the path you want. And the best way to do that is by getting feedback. And sometimes it takes a lot of twists and turns to get you on the right path. But if it gets you there in the end, that's what counts.
Well, it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And the other thing I would say is just sometimes you see a door that closes that you don't see the one that opens. There are many benefits of not getting the mark you want, such as it leads you to real-world experience a lot quicker, that you can find out what it's like to be in different careers as opposed to, being stuck and set on a 3-year path to uni. And once you've racked up all that HECS debt, you don't want to turn back. It's like, I've got to make this degree work. I've got to make accounting work whether I like it or not because I've invested so much time and money into it. Whereas, now you get the opportunity to experiment in a business, in a different career, etc.
So failing at some things isn't a bad thing because this is what life is setting us up for.
Yeah, failing at one thing means that you're starting something else. So
one door closes, another one opens.
Exactly. As cliché as it sounds, one door closes, another door opens.
I don't mind cliches here on evenings,
That's good to hear then, Christine.
even though I'm probably not allowed to use them as much. But listen, Cham Tang, high school failure and self-made millionaire, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks for your time as well.
Awesome, Cham.